Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 13th, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We'll start with roll call, please.
Walton.
Here.
Kimball.
Present.
Stephenson.
Here.
Schlauthauer.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Wilhelm.
Here. Okay, thank you. Next item is ceremonies, announcements, appointments, or other presentations. Mr. Manley.
So there was a request to bring back some national type day. So today is happens to be National Rubber Ducky Day. So those familiar with Sesame Street, that's kind of, well, you know, why this is what it is.
I celebrate this every year.
Nice. Put up a flag in front of your house.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to bring attention to for you guys is on February 17th. Currently, there's a tentative workshop, a joint workshop with City Council and the Advisory Committee to go over the fiscal impact analysis with Urban 3 to support our comprehensive plan. So I just wanted to get you guys aware that right now that's the tentative itinerary.
Urban 3.
Urban 3 is, they're kind of a well-renowned fiscal impact that does visualizations to look at the costs and revenues of a city to kind of look at, you know, its balance for looking at long-term operation and maintenance and looking at the sustainability of your revenues versus costs with growth.
And what day was that? February 9th?
February 17th,
February 17th. Thank you.
So would that be at 5 o'clock?
possibly 4:30. We're kind of,
Okay.
we don't know the actual length of the presentation. There's going to be some coordination that's going to have to go on with that. So just wanted you guys to know since we're about a month out.
Yeah, but it does look like it would be time boxed because there is a city council meeting that night, right?
Correct. So it'd be before city council. That's the current plan.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, the other thing I will add is Mr. Walton over here. It's his last meeting, Kibbe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Was it 3 years now?
Yeah, I think 2.5,
2.5? Okay.
something like that, yeah.
We'll round it up to 3. Close
Okay.
enough. So thank you for your volunteering and all your input over the past.
Appreciate it, thank you.
I know you've learned a lot just me being here when I was here and now what you can do now versus then. You've
Yeah.
learned a ton. So thank you for doing that and good luck on your move to the other side of that line over there. Not too far from here though.
Not
So.
too far, still close.
So with that being said, there is an opening on planning and zoning. I don't know if there's any openings on any other boards or commissions or agencies the city has, but that application is online and always available on the website. So if anybody is interested in that, or if you know somebody, just have them go. It's a form letter. It literally is super quick and easy, 5 minutes and can be done. So the city's always taken that in case positions come open for various reasons on any of the boards and commissions. All right, moving on. Any amendments to the agenda?
There's done.
Okay. Any declaration of conflict, ex parte contact, site visits?
No.
All right.
No.
Seeing none. I don't see any action items on the consent calendar.
True.
None. All right. So we don't need a motion on that, right? Not even to say there's nothing? All right. All right. Citizen issues. This section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the commission on an item that is not on the agenda tonight. Persons wishing to speak will have 5 minutes. Do we have anybody? All right. Moving right along. Unfinished or old business?
None.
Okay. All right, tonight we have 2 public hearings. If you are wishing to testify in the public testimony part of this, please make sure you fill out the form. They're back there by the front door, and then bring those up to the front here, and we'll call you up at that time. First, we'll start with the Prairie Medical Zone Change, file number ZC25-2, and open that hearing.
Good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Justin Souter, and as you just mentioned, this is the Prairie Medical Zone Change, file number ZC-25-2. The applicant is requesting the Planning Commission forward a recommendation to City Council to rezone approximately 30.88 acres from community commercial services to community commercial mixed zone. They intend to construct a medical campus at the site that includes a future hospital bed tower. The current CCS zone has a maximum allowable height of 45 feet, while the CCM zone has a maximum allowable height of 105 feet. The zone change would allow the hospital bed tower to be constructed at a height greater than 45 feet. And that is the main reason for the requested zone change. Here is the location on the southeast corner of Highway 41 and Prairie Avenue. You can see in the red box here. And here you can see the zoning is currently within the CCS zone, which is represented by the red. The properties to the north and the south are also in the CCS zone. And then one of the properties to the west, right there on the corner of Highway 41 and Prairie Avenue, is also in the CCS. And then we have CCM zone on the parcel to the south of that. And then we have some residential zoning further to the east and west.
Where's the CCM zone on there?
Striped stuff.
The red and yellow striped is CCM.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Yep. And then the applicant is requesting to change to CCM, so the red and yellow striped as well.
Got it.
The site is currently undeveloped. It's over the Rathdrum Prairie Aquifer. Water would be provided by Ross Point Water District, and wastewater would be handled by the city. The city has the capacity to provide service and is willing to serve the property at the requested zone. Prairie Avenue and State Highway 41 are both considered principal arterial roadways and also critical arterial corridors. And then Prosper Avenue, that was the avenue to the south, and Zoros Road to the east are both minor collectors. Now we'll get into the review criteria for zone change, and the first is the proposed zoning district consistent with the future land use map and focus area contained in the currently adopted comprehensive plan. So the site actually has two land use designations. The majority of the site is within the business commercial designation represented in pink, and the northwest corner of the site is within the commercial designation in red. Both land use designations provide for a wide variety of general services, retail, professional office, light industrial, artisan manufacturing, and mixed uses to serve both local and regional needs. The requested zone change is consistent with the future land use map because the site is adjacent to properties with the land use designation of business commercial to the north, south, and east, and then commercial to the north. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property from CCS to CCM, which is an implementing zone district for both the business commercial and the commercial land use designations. The CCM zone should be applied in areas primarily located near arterial and collector streets to support commercial, residential, professional office, and civic uses that support accessible live, work, and shop environments. This zone targets high traffic corridors with existing infrastructure, such as Highway 41 and Prairie Avenue, to facilitate large-scale development, such as a medical campus. And the site is within the 41 North focus area. Here is a view of the site and the surrounding area, as well as the zoning. You can see there are a variety of different zones within the area, with commercial zones along Highway 41 and north of Prairie Avenue. And then we have some residential uses further to the east and west. The 41 North focus area states that the Highway 41 corridor will rival Celtice in terms of importance as a retail and mixed-use residential and services district. And residential development has been predominant in recent years, and it's a trend that's likely to continue. Such growth is expected to spur commercial uses adjacent to Highway 41, which you can see that's why there's commercial designations there. The focus area also seeks to provide regional uses along major transit corridors such as Highway 41 and Prairie Avenue, and the future Prairie Medical Campus may support the residents in the immediate vicinity as well as on a regional scale for the entire city due to its location. Moving on to the second review criteria Is the proposed zoning district consistent with the goals and policies contained in the comprehensive plan? The zone change request is consistent with Goal 1, which seeks to grow and sustain a balanced, resilient economy for Post Falls, providing community prosperity and fiscal health. The zone change may contribute to a resilient economy by providing the opportunity for a new employment center to be developed. A medical campus with a hospital creates a variety of employment opportunities that contribute to the economic diversity and long-term prosperity of the city, and may even attract related businesses such as medical suppliers, pharmacies, and other wellness services. Furthermore, the commercial and medical uses along Highway 41 may require diverse residential developments nearby to support the medical campus. There are several factors that need to be considered when applying a new zone designation. We have already touched on the fact that the proposed zone designation is consistent with the future land use map. It's compatible with surrounding land uses and the goals of the comprehensive plan. So as far as infrastructure, sanitary sewer is located within the intersection of Prosper Avenue and Highway 41, and it would discharge to the 12th Avenue lift station. The city has capacity for the requested zone and is in conformance with the city's water reclamation master plan. For traffic patterns, Highway 41 and Prairie Avenue are both classified as principal arterial roadways and critical arterial corridors. Prairie Avenue will be widening to the full paved width in 2026 or 2027 with the Post Falls Highway District's Prairie Avenue widening project. Prosper Avenue and Zoros Road are classified as minor collector roadways, and when fully constructed, the adjoining roadways will have the capacity to accommodate the projected traffic volumes for the surrounding land uses and this development. The zone change is also consistent with Goal 7 of the comprehensive plan, which plans for and established types and quantities of land uses in Post Falls, supporting community needs and the city's long-term sustainability. The zone change would support community needs and the city's long-term sustainability by allowing for the development of a medical campus, which will be a major benefit to the city as it continues to grow. Additionally, a hospital can be considered a community need and an essential service. The zone change is also compatible with Policy 8, which encourages infill development within city limits. As this area is infill because to the south and west are already developed, and the areas to the north, east, and northeast are currently being developed. The CCM zone and medical campus would be compatible with the commercial buildings being developed to the north and the other medical uses that are being developed to the northeast. It's also consistent with Policy 86, which seeks to work with local businesses to enhance, sustain, and diversify the local economy by supporting opportunities related to business campuses and attracting new businesses. The zone change would allow for the opportunity to expand medical services and jobs within a campus-like setting, and it's likely to attract other new businesses as well. The third and final review criteria: does the proposed zoning district create a demonstrable adverse impact upon the delivery of services by any political subdivision? And there have been no identified demonstrable adverse impacts identified at this time. Here is a list of all the agencies that were notified of the project, and here is a list of the comments we received. Of these 5, they were all either neutral, they were either going to coordinate at time of development, or had no comments, and we actually did receive 1 comment showing support from the urban renewal. Here's the review criteria once again for you, and the project location. That concludes my part of the presentation. I'm available for questions, and I believe the applicant is here for questions as well.
Any questions?
Just a couple quick questions. So we asked ITD for input too, and they didn't respond? Is that?
We did not get a
Didn't get a response from them?
correct. We did not.
And then I had a question on the CCM zone. When I look at our city code, CCM isn't in our official bulk and placement regulation table. So where do we get the maximum height from? Where does that show up?
So it's in the code just a little further up. When you're looking at zone designations, it's just in a different spot. In that specific spot where it talks about the CCM zone designation, it has its own small bulk and placement table, and there it says that it's 105 feet.
Okay, and what about residential in the CCM zone?
I believe it's up to 50.
Is it a similar density and so forth as it would be in the CCS? And is it subject to special use, or?
I'm going to have John help me with that one.
So this particular site, the way CCM is, you can do up to 50% of the land use as multifamily. This being the case, though, we know the applicant is looking at doing a hospital, so we've drafted a development agreement that when it goes to city council, that actually is going to not allow residential development as part of the zone change. And so that'll be in the zone change agreement. Typically, we would do with CCM, we would request the applicant, if they're wanting to do residential, do some sort of bubble diagram and to propose what types of land uses as far as residential and where they would go. But in this case, because they want to do the whole medical hospital campus, no need for the bubble diagram showing, you know, where the residents would be, because they're not going to be there.
Okay. No, that was it.
Sewer, I know you said it had the capacity, but we've had conversations out in this area, and I think it's farther east, that a lot of stuff would have to, infrastructure would have to go in before there would be capacity for more development. That's going to be not a concern with this one, more, that would be like that lot next to it got it developed.
Yeah, I'm going to defer to engineering on this one, so one of our engineers, Chris, is going to come up.
Chris Schneider, staff engineer. So sewer capacity in this area shouldn't be an issue. This was part of our previous sewer studies, and we have an ongoing sewer study. The build out for this project is looking to be about 20 years. By that point, the 12th Avenue lift station improvements will be completed. Further to the east, that's getting into the Fennicus line, which is not completed. This will not be utilizing the Fennicus line. It'll either be going down Zoros or more likely Highway 41.
Gotcha. Cool, thank you. Any other questions? All right, invite the applicant up. Name for the record, please.
Yeah, good evening, Ben McGran. I am the owner's rep project manager representing OAC Project Management Services. Thank you for having me today. We're excited to work with Post Falls on this project. It's obviously a huge investment and a great opportunity for the city of Post Falls. It is a partnership that we have between Kootenai Health, Multicare, and Parkwood Business Partners. Obviously all great community members here within Post Falls. The need for this increase in the height limit for the CCM zoning is really a way for us to accommodate the need for an efficient, modern healthcare design. This would allow us to get up to 6 stories. By allowing this more efficient, vertically designed campus, it allows us to preserve open space, design landscaped areas for walking trails, and support patient wellness and staff and public access. Without this rezoning, the planned hospital and communities serving the medical campus cannot be delivered in a manner consistent with current healthcare standards or really the city's long-term land vision. Here in front of you, we have this project broken down in phases. The first phase is anchoring on the southwest corner of the site, what would be at the intersection of Highway 41 and Prosper. We are planning for a 14-bed emergency department. There is going to be an advanced outpatient imaging suite. There's going to be a connected lobby space that will be a gathering space for both staff, patients, and the public. And then a medical office building that will host clinics like orthopedics, cardiology, pediatrics, and women's health services. We are going to be developing the right-of-way as part of this first phase, which is the development of the Zoros Road, which goes south of the Prairie traffic circle, and Prosper, which is on the south side of the development. The plan is, in working with Urban Renewal, that we want to develop the road network in conjunction with our partners, both Parkwood and Lakeside Development, which is to our direct east. Targeting to complete this first phase in late Q4 of 2027 for the ED, and the MOB would be completed in early Q1 of 2028. Here you can see the future build out of the campus. As we talked about, first phase is in the lower left-hand corner, and we would build out in phases as we extend to the northeast. The hospital tower and the massing of the hospital would be more flanking towards Highway 41 and Prairie, while the medical office buildings would be built out closer to the Zoros and Prosper intersections, with a future parking garage plan too. And we are planning that this future phase build out will be in the next 10 to 15 years. So as stated, our rezone request is basically we want to create a efficient vertically integrated design. The current height limit does not allow us to create green space, walking trails, and open space that we desire on our campus. And we would appreciate your guys' consideration in our rezone requests, and I'm open to any questions that you might have.
Any questions?
So basically, the thought is to go more vertical and then allow more land area to be open for parking, landscaping, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see here, but you can see the positioning of the hospital and the MOB spaces, and we have this view corridor that we want to create that's kind of like an open, welcoming space with ponds and water features and walking trails. This, of course, would be open to the public, to patients, to visitors, to staff. We really do want to use the environment to help with the healing process for patients.
So it's not necessarily an increase in density, building density. It's more just an increase in the potential height of individual buildings.
That, and I would just call it the efficiency of the design.
Okay. All right.
What does 6 stories look like if you had to compare it to a building around here? Because I can see people's concerns with the 6-story building out there when there's nothing anywhere near that height.
That's a good question. Off the top of my mind, I couldn't give you a 6-story building top of mind. But I think if you looked at any hotel that is in the area, I was going to say
Go down the street, the brand new one.
Yeah, it's probably close to that.
close to that.
So that,
Yeah.
And I imagine existing Kootenai Health is about 6 stories, I think.
if not bigger.
Yeah, yeah. The tower that they have with the helicopter landing pad on it, which we're not planning for this to be a trauma center, but the Coeur d'Alene campus is about 105 feet in total height.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any public testimony? All right, no public testimony. No need to rebut. All right. What are we doing? Close out the hearing and look at the review criteria.
Thank you, Commissioners. So we've got a zone change recommendation that we'll be forwarding it on to Council for final approval. Prairie Medical ZC 25-2, 30.88 acres from CCS to CCM, ostensibly to increase the height limitations from the CCS zone. Number 1, is the proposed zoning district consistent with the future land use map and focus area contained in the currently adopted Post Falls Comprehensive Plan?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty straightforward. It's an
that's-
implementing zone for the Highway 41 focus area, as well as the CCS and commercial, or the commercial, business commercial land use destination, so.
And just a further note, this is kind of a prime corner of
Yeah.
our, basically the 2 biggest transportation corridors in the city, when you really think about it, with Highway 41 and Prairie, at least
Yeah.
long-term they will be.
Yeah,
So if we're
becoming
going to have something that's a little higher density or a little bit more of an intensive use, that corner is prime for this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if there's some place that where you would expect something of a high intensity, that would be the place.
Yeah. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners.
Number 2, is the proposed zoning district consistent with the goals and policies contained in the currently adopted comprehensive plan?
Yeah, I wrote down policy 45, and it says hospital development compatibility with annexation and growth. And I'm just looking at the comp plan, and like what we just said with criteria 1, it's business commercial. This is where you would think you'd see something like this.
Yeah, specifically, Goal 1 speaks to grow and sustain a balanced, resilient economy for Post Falls, and medical centers are well known for providing an economic boost to many communities. And so they, not only do they bring jobs directly to them, but the ancillary businesses that pop up to support medical centers, I'm talking restaurants, coffee stands, all these other types of businesses that follow along hand in glove afterwards, go to fill that goal. Policy 8 speaks to infill development, which this is. It's been annexed for quite some time, and so seeing this develop as infill is fantastic, especially on that intersection. And Policy 84 speaks to promoting businesses that provide local living wage jobs, which this is one of those as well.
Yeah.
And goal
That's a big
2,
one.
goal 2, a hospital, essential community services.
Commissioner Kimball, did you say 84?
I think I said 84.
Okay, I just couldn't recall. Thank
I
you.
wrote down 84, and I think I wrote it down correctly.
Yeah, living wage.
Yep.
Yeah, 84.
Thank you. Okay, and finally, number 3, demonstrable adverse impact discussion.
Nothing was brought up in presentation or public testimony.
The only other thing I would note, Commissioners, is there was a letter to the file talking about the delivery of services for sewer capacity. Some discussion was brought up as to being at capacity, but it sounds like our engineering staff has reviewed that and has said that for these types of uses, the capacity exists for these anticipated uses. I just
Right.
note that.
Well, and the reality is that the hospital can go there today with today's zoning. It's just they're looking for a different height restriction, so it's almost irrelevant whether there's capacity or not. The zone change isn't going to change that. It's just going to go from commercial to a commercial. The only difference is a height restriction. So from that standpoint, it's kind of a moot point, I would think.
I would even go further to say it's not adverse, but I would say there's a demonstrable positive impact from this potential development. And that would be all the right-of-ways being developed as part of this. It's significant. I mean, it's all 4 sides of this property are on right-of-way. And that's a lot of investment dollars going back into the community for sidewalks, bike paths, all the landscaping that goes into there. And then on Zoros and Prosper in particular, those streets are basically not there yet. And those are going to be built as part of this. That's a major undertaking. So,
Thank you.
Any other commissioner discussion, or are we ready to?
the only concern I had was in regards to the CCM zone allowing residential and specifically multifamily, because I know that question always comes up.
Sure.
But that's already being addressed with the development agreement. Not really concerned about that with this particular property owner, but I had concerns coming in, so I'm glad that was addressed.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was in the letter that was included, so that was a good point to bring up, so. Any other discussion? I'd like to make a motion.
I move to recommend approval of file number ZC 25-2, finding that the requested zoning of CCM meets the approval criteria in Post Falls Municipal Code 18.20.100 as outlined in our deliberation, and direct staff to prepare a zoning recommendation to be provided to City Council.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second?
Oh, couple seconds. Roll call, please.
Schlauer,
Yes.
Wilhelm,
Yes.
Walton,
Yes.
Stephenson,
Yes.
Schreiber,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
All right. Your recommendation on the zoning is approved, and we'll move on to city council. Next item on the agenda is Prairie Annexation, file number ANNX-25-5. Open that public hearing.
All right, now we have the Prairie Avenue annexation, file number ANX-25-5. All right, the applicant is requesting the Planning and Zoning Commission to forward a zoning recommendation to City Council for single-family residential on approximately 20 acres as part of an annexation request into the city. The project site is generally located north of West Prairie Avenue, and it's about a third of a mile east of the intersection of Greens Ferry Road and Prairie Avenue. And then also you can see Highway 41 a little further off in the distance, about at the limit of this screen to the east. Here you can see that the site is not currently within the city and therefore does not have a zoning designation. The properties to the north and east are undeveloped and are within the technology mixed zone and are intended for multifamily uses and some commercial uses along Prairie Avenue. The properties to the west contain single-family homes on 5-acre lots, and these were annexed into the city in 2022 with the community commercial mixed zone and the community commercial services zone designations. The properties directly to the south across Prairie Avenue are also within the community commercial services zone, and then the applicant is requesting a zone designation of R1. As you can see on the map, there are some single-family homes within the R1 and R2 zone designations further to the south in the yellow colors. And then also you can see where the medical campus was just forwarded on for the zoning recommendation over there on the east on Highway 41. The site is currently undeveloped, and it's over the Rathdrum Prairie Aquifer. The water service will be provided from Ross Point. For wastewater, be handled by the city of Post Falls, and the city does have capacity to provide service, and it's willing to provide service at the requested zone designation. Prairie Avenue is a principal arterial and a critical arterial corridor, and then additional rights-of-way and easements would need to be provided as part of annexation and road widening at the time of development. Now for the zone change criteria, number 1 is the proposed zoning district consistent with the future land use map and focus area. The future land use designation of the subject property is transitional, which is designated for areas suitable for growth. You can see that there in the purple color or the bluish color. The timing of growth is undetermined, but guidance can be found within the comprehensive plan in the focus area, which is the 41 North focus area. The assigned zone should be compatible with the adjacent zones and uses and consistent with the guiding principles of the focus area. And you can see the site is adjacent to properties with land use designation of transitional to the west and south, and then the business commercial designation to the north and east. The 41 North focus area states that Highway 41 corridor will rival Saltese in terms of importance as a retail mixed-use residential and services district. Residential development has been predominant in recent years, and it's likely to continue. So such growth is expected to spur commercial uses along Highway 41, which we just talked about in the last presentation. As this area of the North Prairie grows, land values may pressure development to attract a range of residential developments, offering shared amenities and a variety of different housing types. To help enrich the future identity of the focus area, growth should include strategically located and carefully designated land uses, incorporating trails and interconnected walkable street network. In this snapshot of the surrounding area, you can see there are generally residential zones to the south of Prairie Avenue in yellow, and more commercial zone designations to the north of Prairie, and then when you get closer to Highway 41. The proposed R1 zone may be compatible with properties in the immediate vicinity to the west, which are currently utilized as single-family homes, and then further to the south of the site, there is R1 and R2 as well. The request may also be consistent with the focus area, which talks about residential uses within proximity to Highway 41 in order to support commercial and also, as we can see, medical development along the highway corridor.
Justin,
Yes.
go back to that map, please.
Yeah.
Can you show us where the multifamily designation within the technology mix zone is supposed to be relative to this?
Yes, let's see. Does this have a laser? Give me one moment here. We can use the mouse on here. Oh, it's not. Hold on one moment.
It was on there a second ago.
I'm not able to. Oh, here we go. Come on. The mouse is not showing up. It would be directly bordering the north and east side of the project site.
Okay, so it's kind of like that upside down L.
Yeah.
So there's, oh, okay.
Does that make sense? Is that clear?
It does, so that's all going to be multifamily.
As far as I know, John, might be able to.
Well, approximately 45 acres of that. So there may be some that's fronting Prairie Avenue, a small little bit that may be some other commercial type use, because there's slightly more than 45 acres in that Tetris-shaped L.
Okay.
All right. For the second review criteria, states, is the proposed zoning district consistent with the goals and policies contained in the comprehensive plan? The annexation request is consistent with Goal 1, which looks to grow and sustain a balanced, resilient economy for Post Falls, providing community prosperity and fiscal health. The R1 zone can deliver single-family homes, which make up the majority of the desired housing product within Post Falls. An annexation of the property would allow future residential development near commercial and future technological services, where residents would be able to live, work, and patronize these services, contributing to the economic diversity of the city. There are several factors that need to be considered when applying a new zone. We talked about the proposed zone designation being consistent with the future land use map, and it may be compatible with surrounding land uses, and then the goals and policies of a comprehensive plan. Sanitary sewer is located at the southerly property line and would discharge to the Greens Ferry Service Basin, which has capacity for the requested zone, and it is in conformance with the city's water reclamation plan. For traffic patterns, Prairie Avenue is classified as a principal arterial and also a critical arterial corridor. It's currently configured with 2 eastbound lanes, 1 westbound lane, and a 2-way center turn lane. However, to accommodate future projected traffic volumes, Prairie Avenue would be widened to 5-lane configuration at the time of site development. The annexation is also consistent with Goal 7, which seeks to plan for and establish types and quantities of land uses in Post Falls supporting community needs and long-term sustainability. The R1 zone may help with community needs and long-term sustainability by providing housing. It's also consistent with Policy 15, which ensures that adequate land is available for future housing needs. Annexation of the subject site with a zoning request would help provide land for future housing needs at a low density in an area projected to be incorporated into the city. And upon subdivision development, roadway and pedestrian improvements would be required and completed, allowing for continuity of roadway and paths and help create future pedestrian connectivities through sidewalks and trails, which is encouraged by Policy 33. The third and final review criteria, does the proposed zoning district create demonstrable adverse impact? And there have been no identified demonstrable adverse impacts identified at this time. Here's a list of the agencies that were notified. And here's a list of the agencies that we received comments. All of these agencies were either neutral or will comment at the time of development or had no facilities within the project site. Here's the review criteria one last time, and then the project site. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions, and the applicant is here this evening as well.
Questions?
No, no.
Can you go back to the zone map?
This one?
Yeah. North of Prairie, east of Greens Ferry. So we got CCM and CCS, is that right?
Correct.
Do we remember why those were zoned that, what was supposed to go in there, or what is going in there?
So the area that's CCS, that's the red on the very northern part of that intersection. At the time of the application, the intent was for a storage facility to be there in that red. South of there, where you see the CCM, the intent from the applicant was to do some more neighborhood or lower intense commercial along Greens Ferry and Prairie, do some more community service type commercialism there. And then possibly between that and the red and the CCS, they were contemplating doing more industrial storage type flex space in that location. They were looking at maybe trying to figure out how to get a access road off Greens Ferry and have it be able to run through the middle of that CCM to some degree. So that was the plan on that for those. That may change whenever they develop, but
What are what's the city's perspective on if this is all developed R1, and how would the roadways work? Would roadways go through R1 and then go into the technology manufacturing zoning or into the commercial zoning? Are there concerns when we're kind of blending R1 with higher intensity commercial zones immediately adjacent? Or would all the traffic be sent back to Prairie and it's just a kind of a peninsula of residential? I know we don't have a site plan for this or anything yet. I'm just.
correct. Some little bit of history on this. So the applicant go in this too, but the applicant did get put into a little bit of a corner on this. They did come forward. This is their third application. The first time they were going for a residential mixed product in that they were trying to blend uses to the multifamily. And there was a recommendation from P&Z to council on that, of which then that was denied. Then the applicant did come forward with the multifamily, and it could have been reversed. It could have been one or the other. With the multifamily application, there was talks, that road that goes north-south into it, working on collaborating and seeing if there's access to the properties to the west and how we could maybe improve that kind of circulation there. Being the current proposal being R1, because they've been denied for an RM, been denied for a CCM. Now they have R3 to the north and east, so there'll be some buffering type stuff that'll happen. We'll have to coordinate that. More than likely at the time of the multifamily development, we'll have to buffer and mitigate its impact being adjacent to single family. Equally, the product to the west, when they develop, would buffer and mitigate any impacts they may have on single family. As far as utilizing Lynn and going into commercial, sometimes with single family subdivisions, it's not best to merge commercial package roads into and through residential developments. And so more than likely, without having other additional conversations with the applicant on this, I could see a lot of that traffic going westbound onto Greens Ferry, and having its access on Greens Ferry, because from what I understand from engineering, they could verify this, generally speaking, that Lynn Street's there because they're only going to want to have one access point on Prairie between Greens Ferry and Cecil Road. And that's why Lynn Street, that's that one that bumps into it just to the south. And so the one access point will be into, more than likely, this single-family subdivision.
Okay.
If it was approved.
Sure.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Invite the applicant up. Name for the record, please.
Good evening, Chairman Stephenson, fellow commissioners, Drew Dittman, Lake City Engineering for the record. Here tonight to talk about 20 acres on Prairie Avenue. As John had indicated, this is our third go-around with this annexation. We came in front of you guys in February of 2021 with an RM designation and received unanimous approval from P&Z, went in front of council. Council wasn't quite ready to annex the property at the time, had Highway 41 stuff in the planning stages back then still. Council has suggested they wanted to see Highway 41 get further along before we annex this property, so we waited. We came back in 2023, as John had indicated, with an R3 in the back and commercial designations along Prairie. Received again unanimous approval from P&Z and were denied at council. They had suggested they didn't want to see some of the R3, perhaps R1, R2 would be more appropriate. And again, they were worried about some commercial development and growth along Highway 41. Now here we are 2.5, 3 years later. We're seeing some of that commercial growth along, a lot of that commercial growth along Highway 41 as evident by the hearing before us. So we're back in front of you guys now with an R1 designation, which we feel is where we've been directed by council to come back in front of you with the residential use for this property. As Vice Chair Kimball had indicated, there is multifamily uses earmarked on the property directly to the north and directly to the northeast. As John said, it's about 44 acres that is earmarked for multifamily development as part of that tech park. So residential uses on this property would blend in with that multifamily to the north. We feel anyways, you've got residential properties to the south, so it fits in that context as well. You know, here's the zoning criteria. Justin had kind of gone through this, so I'm not going to spend much time going through it. We feel that we meet all three of these criteria. It's consistent with the future land use map and the comp plan. It's designated transitional, which is, you know, areas that are suitable for growth or ready for growth. Highway 41 focus area, which is a mix of retail, mixed use, residential, and services. Obviously, residential development is predominant in this area. We're seeing a lot of it. This fits with that. Item 3 is, are there any demonstrable adverse impacts? And I've kind of jumped ahead here a little bit because Justin had talked about the comp plan stuff, but there's really not any demonstrable adverse impacts. Sewer's available, water's available, streets, fire, police, school districts had not indicated any adverse impacts from the R1 zone that we're requesting. So didn't mean to kind of skip through that, but Justin covered a lot of that. So I didn't want to double up on that. There's a full comp plan analysis that's in your staff report that we also submitted in our narrative that addresses all of the goals and policies, which we've thrown some up here that we feel that it meets in the comp plan. So I didn't want to get into the weeds on that because you guys have already read that and seen that. So we're here asking for R1 designation on 20 acres. So I'll take questions if there are any.
Questions? No questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Public testimony? All right. Wishing to speak, neutral, Barb Heights. Just name for the record. You have 4 minutes. I believe there should be a timer right there, and she'll get it going.
Okay, my name is Barb Hitz. I live just south of Prairie on Mayella in this area. I am concerned because there are 2 bus stops between Lynn Street and Greens Ferry on the north side, and I frequently see traffic not stopping when the buses are picking up the students. I'm across the street. My backyard is not fenced, so I get to see the traffic. I'm incredibly concerned about those drivers for the buses, the students on the buses, the students being picked up. How is this going to impact that? Having more houses on the other side of the street. Lynn, when I've crossed Lynn Street from the west to the east or east to the west, I've had to really watch cars turning off of Prairie onto Lynn. So I see that being a problem going north on Lynn. I've almost been hit a couple times as a pedestrian. If I wasn't watching him backing up, I would have been hit. So I just see traffic in that area as a concern. And I don't know what else to say.
Thank you. Mr. Dittman, rebuttal, please, if you like.
Thank you, Chairman. Drew Dittman for the record again. Valid concern. We can certainly work with the school district when we bring forward a subdivision on bus stops and whatnot. The school district has had the opportunity to provide comment on this, and that wasn't a concern of theirs at that time. When we bring forward a subdivision, they'll have a chance to comment again, and we can certainly work with them on bus stops and traffic at that time. So.
And I know, just to add context, a development that was developed north of Prairie, what is it, west of Chase. Obviously, it got through here, went to city council, and they put in the little buttons for the crosswalk and stuff. So that may be something
Our
that might be.
RFBs, that's something we can certainly consider. And
Yeah.
again, when we bring forward a subdivision, we will certainly work with the school district. They'll have the opportunity to comment, and if that's appropriate, and
Sure.
we can work with Rob and his engineering staff on that. And if they see that's appropriate, we can
Yeah, definitely.
certainly accommodate that, so.
All right, thank you.
Anything else for me? No? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, close out the hearing. Look at the review criteria.
Okay, Commissioners, Prairie Avenue annexation 25-5, 20 acres, requested R1, zoning recommendation to council. Number 1, is the proposed zoning district consistent with the future land use map and focus area contained in the currently adopted Post Falls Comprehensive Plan?
So I think
Yes
it,
and no.
I think it,
No.
yeah, I was going to say yes and no.
Yes and no.
I think it does fit the overall comprehensive plan and the designation for that area. I'm concerned that it's R1 and the completely circled by commercial.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons I asked the question about what was going in that corner. That was a while ago, so who knows what actually ultimately goes in there, and we can't.
Well, the corner is a commercial node.
Well, yeah, and
And
that's
this is beyond the commercial node, so I'd say you're transitioning from commercial.
but then commercial.
Commercial to single family, back to commercial.
Well, it's multifamily. You're transitioning from multifamily
There's just a
to commercial in the node.
yeah. There's
And
just
in
for me a
between
lot going
is
on.
residential.
Yeah.
It's just an
see what you're saying,
unusual scenario. It looks piecemeal, but that's not what's in front of us. It's not that we're being asked to approve something else, because we actually already recommended approval of 2 different variations on this, and city council shot both of them down.
Yeah. And those other properties aren't being built on, so.
And those other properties aren't being built on right now.
Yeah. We can always use, I think, more homes. There's a lack of variety of homes in the area as people continue to move here.
And, it will provide a transition from single family to the south. So on the south side of Prairie, it'll extend single family to the north side and then transition it into multifamily.
That area right now is basically single family.
To the south, for
There's
sure.
some red stuff
Yeah.
on the map that hasn't been built, but that area is single family.
It is.
True.
And, there are spots in Post Falls where there are little peninsulas of single family that kind of pop into commercial areas. There's one in Tullamore, a couple in Tullamore area, and those seem to work out pretty well. They buffer themselves with streets, and people seem to like to live there. So, and I think a lot of them like to be close to businesses.
Right.
So, and I mean, I think their prior applications were probably better, but they don't get the opportunity to, that'd be silly for them to come back with the same thing and get turned down again. So I completely understand where they are. And if it does fit within the focus area where there's a mix of, encouraging mixes of residential as well as commercial development.
Yeah. And the commercial that's right across the street, that Prairie Athletic Center, that's a youth sports facility. So residential adjacent to a youth sports facility makes perfect sense.
Right, and then furthermore, there's the city, just on the southeast corner of Cecil and Prairie is the city's sports complex that is, in various stages of construction.
Yeah. And parks.
Yep, Parks Department.
Yeah, so to summarize, Commissioners, it sounds like there's concerns about the surrounding commercial uses, but generally, I'm getting a nod of agreement that the proposed R1 compatibility for residential uses would be compatible with the adjacent uses, including the multifamily residential uses.
I think when they're buffered with our code requirements require buffers between commercial and residential and multifamily and different types of residential. So, those buffer requirements are there. So I think they're there for a reason. And so I think that allows for them to be adjacent and compatible.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, the proposed zoning district being R1, consistent with the goals and policies in the comprehensive plan.
Policy 8 speaks to prioritizing infill, which this is. Policy 9 speaks to eliminating county islands, which this is. Policy 2 speaks to infrastructure. So that's one that the staff report hits pretty good, but the Prairie Avenue is one of those as a major arterial as an principal arterial in the city of Post Falls. That's getting the right-of-way that comes with this annexation should be a priority. It comes with a premium value, and you can just ask Post Falls Highway District how much it's costing them on the east side of Highway 41 because City of Post Falls didn't annex the Hughes property. And now the Post Falls Highway District and the taxpayers get the opportunity to buy that right away as a premium versus get it for free. So, there is a large infrastructure consideration here. There's a large benefit to the city to get both right away as well as the follow-on subdivision infrastructure improvements to complete that right away with. I think that's a big deal.
I think that's going to potentially help the school bus situation or potential school bus situation too, as Prairie's widened.
Right.
Because this is a substantial widening to that whole section.
Right. I mean, even though people should stop, obviously.
Absolutely.
Those red flashing lights are there for a reason. So, and hopefully, the police do make an extra patrol out there too. If you see that happening, it's important. I want to keep those kiddos safe.
Yep.
Also, I think policy 15 is a big one, adequate land for future housing needs. R1 housing is the number one desire of most people. It's the housing that people, that's their goal. That's what they ultimately seek. And, having more available housing helps with the price point. And I think maybe here in the next few years as the economy and interest rates turn around, having some available housing is going to create some nice opportunities for a lot of residents, present residents.
Okay. Thank you for the discussion. And finally, number 3, the consideration of any demonstrable adverse impacts noted. And I don't recall any testimony on that issue.
There were none.
Correct. There were none.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioner discussion?
No.
Somebody like to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
I move to recommend approval of Prairie Annexation File Number ANNX-25-5 to R1, finding that the requested zoning meets the approval criteria in Post Falls Municipal Code 18.20.100 as outlined in our deliberations, and direct staff to prepare a zoning recommendation to be approved to City Council.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor
Second?
and a second. Roll call, please.
Wilhelm,
Yes.
Schreiber,
Yes.
Kimball,
Yes.
Stephenson,
Yes.
Schlaughauer,
Yes.
Walton.
Yes.
All right, that zoning recommendation is approved, and we'll move on to City Council. Next item on the agenda, administrative staff reports.
From the staff's perspective, just once again, I want to thank Kibby for his time. So,
Thank you.
thanks, and you get a duck out of here on National Ducky Day.
And you can always come back and visit.
Are you going to sing to me, John? Robert?
You're our favorite Ducky.
I'll go walk down there occasionally.
All right.
All right, any commissioner comments?
Gibby, we're gonna miss you.
Thank you.
Agreed. Okay, there's nothing else.
Move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, adjourned.